All right, guys, sorry about that. We are in the hinterlands of Minnesota and we lost our live feed, but I'm going to do a standard video walkthrough with you guys here. So I'm standing inside the 1880s farmhouse we restored and won a national award for. And I'll kind of bring you through the kitchen here. Beautiful new beadboard ceiling that we enameled. These cabinets here, I actually matched to this. This hutch came out of probably a 120-year-old house, and it used to stop right here at a wall. And you know, this was a wall hutch from an old craftsman home. They actually built an island out of it, so all this stuff I matched to this woodwork here, and all of these cabinets here are brand new cabinets, but I use the same formula. It's a dye stain, a pigment stain, amber shellac, and 3 coats of oil varnish, hand mixed oil varnish all over this stuff to get a traditional look to it there. So all these cabinets are new, matched to that beautiful hutch that we took for inspiration. The stone on here, what kind of stone is this, Barb?
It came from the Fauché Tower.
That's what I heard. So
yeah.
One of the famous skyscrapers, one of the first skyscrapers in Minnesota is called the Fauché Tower. Anybody who's been downtown, it's big letters, it's a beautiful building. But this stone actually came out of that and was reworked for your house. So cool. So cool. They got the beautiful farmhouse sink. Breakfast nook here, again with the beautiful enameled beadboard ceilings. I'll turn this guy around here. So the door behind me here is one of the original doors from the 1880s house that they moved. The coolest thing about this door is that it would have been pine or fir originally, and it looks like oak now, but this is actually a decorative finish that would have been applied in the late 1800s. So this is a surviving, existing decorative wood grain finish for those of you who appreciate that stuff from the late 1800s. So you can see they made it look like flat sawn right here, and they made it look like quarter sawn or rift sawn right there. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. And then you can see little powder room with an awesome little corner sink, salvage medicine cabinet there. And coolest thing about this house, one of the biggest projects for the carpenters, was this stairwell is not original. It actually used to be completely turned around facing the other way. And for people who know old 1800s houses, you know the stairwells are just like straight up and down, very, very steep. And they actually moved this one and then made it nice and easy to get up. This is one of the first stairwells, actually treads, that I enameled with Benjamin Moore Aura years ago. And you can see there are some scratches here, but they have 4 huge dogs that run up and down these stairs all the time, and for the few scratches that are here, this is pretty amazing. I'm very, very surprised and pleased that this enamel worked out as well as it did on those stairs. It's worked out as well as any other sort of porch and floor enamel or you know, epoxy and things like that that I've used before. So little entryway here, some new, some old mixed together. This is another one of the most beautiful pieces of the house here. So original tin ceiling to the house. It was painted. I removed as much old paint as I could that was failing. We fixed a few rust spots in it as normally occurs. And then I laid down a base coat of color. I laid down a true copper metallic paint, and then I hand distressed it with a sea sponge and some homemade glaze to make it look like it was old, that it's got a whole bunch of soot and tobacco smoke and all that other good stuff on there. So you guys can see that this is such a cool ceiling, such a cool feature to the house. And to have something like that around here is, you know, we don't have a lot of very grand houses like this in the rural areas of Minnesota, and for this to be still surviving here is quite amazing and in such good shape. So it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So you can see here, living room. Light actually came out from a hotel in California. They salvaged from that. Piano room, little porch out front. It probably would have been either a traditional front porch, a non-enclosed front porch, most likely enclosed later on at another date there. You can see this little alcove here, a little short hallway. This is a bunch of surviving original woodwork that has more of that graining on it. Beautiful maple floors. Turn this around here. Room they use for an office. We salvaged the beautiful picture rail here. I've not seen ornate picture rail like that in a rural house before, and it was really, really cool to see. Some more original woodwork here, grained from the 1800s. Nice kind of traditional mauve color on the walls. Another traditionally, you can see they really went with the quarter sawn fleck when they did those doors. Original doorknobs there. Bathroom, laundry room here. I enameled the outside of that clawfoot tub with a copperish kind of paint as well. Traditional chimney closet right here, little narrow thing. That's original. We kind of restored that one. Vanity here, same thing. Made completely new, but I use my process to make it a nice old traditional finish. Walls and ceiling, a mix of plaster and drywall. And I'll take you guys upstairs real quick, and then we'll talk to our clients. Give me just a second. Okay, so new stairwell. Coming up to the hall here. Original floors. Probably would have been painted up here originally, but they restored them. Beautiful little lamp. Hallway here, this beautiful blue color. We actually took inspiration from some doors we were stripping up here, and we found a color very, very similar to this way down in there from the 1800s. It would have been either milk paint or some original oil paint, and we used it for inspiration for some of these kind of robin's egg blue walls like this. Just beautiful, beautiful color. And we used a little more saturated form of it here. Another vanity that I made to look old. Traditional finish. Some of the original wavy glass, which is awesome. Beautiful lilac bushes out there this time of year and crabapple trees. Those nice short doorways from the 1800s. And then, yeah, beautiful, beautiful room here. And what I love about some of these traditional homes too is that, you know, the rooms are small enough where you get windows on both sides of the rooms here. So you get that beautiful south light and you get that west light, and it's just so light and airy up here. So yeah, I'll take you downstairs now, and we can, this is kind of cool. One of the original thresholds from the 1800s down there they preserved. So yeah, we'll talk to the clients a little bit and see what it was like on their end here. So, who wants to be the victim? Both of you guys? All right. So, Barb Klein, John Klein, great to meet you guys. Great to see you again. One of the coolest things about this property was that, you know, you sort of allowed me to advise on colors and finishes and things like that. Why would you ever let somebody else give that much input on a project?
The most important thing to me about this house was the old bones. And you valued the old bones the way we value the old bones. And you saw that that woodwork came from the state of Washington, and you held up a paintbrush and you said, I can put paint up here and it will stay.
Yep.
And that was so important.
Yeah.
And you're just, your values, your ability to pick colors, communicate with us. You have been a huge part of this. I also wanted to mention Fred Wensloff from Henderson.
Yes.
Anderson Brothers, great team.
And Wensloff is the cabinet
He's the cabinet guy.
Yeah.
He and I went to Bauer Brothers and saved some of this stuff and everybody worked together. They hauled the cabinets out to your place so you could do the staining. But you brought the old and new together in a way that is so much needed for a beautiful house like this. It was bank owned. It was terrifying at the beginning. And look at how it turned out.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the patience and perseverance it takes from you guys to have, you know, just craftsmen in your house. I mean, it must have taken 9 months, a year?
9 months.
9 months, yeah. So, I mean, that's a long, and I see projects, I probably spent a couple months out here, and for me, that's a long project. But you guys saw the whole thing through from, I mean, you're brave enough to move a stairwell in an 1800s house. That alone is worth that. So, of this process, what surprised you about the whole thing?
Well, there was a lot of damage, especially in the kitchen area, that it could come out as beautifully as it is. That was frankly a surprise. I didn't know what we were going to find. I was so pleased we could save as much of the plaster as we did. That was a big worry, and you were just brilliant in making that. We have to figure out which is which. Oh yeah. But having saved that plaster was really important to me too, and you did a brilliant job of that. Yep.
No, and I remember. It's something that I always take for granted, but one of the early discussions with the outside of the house, I just thought I was going to do my normal restoration process, and I think you guys were sort of talking it over with the contractor like, we're gonna have to replace a lot of this siding. And I think I must have overheard you guys and just said, oh yeah, by the way, this is a no-brainer. I can just fix this stuff. And then it was like, oh yeah, we'll do that then and get rid of the stuff that's rotten.
Yep.
But we can save it. And you guys are savers like I am, and but reasonable savers. You know, we're not gonna spend 10 times the effort on a piece of wood to save it if we could reasonably replace it. But if it's easy to replace it, I think we're all of the same minds where we're like, yeah, of course preserve that wood. That wood has seen the Civil War. Why wouldn't we make an attempt to save it if it's easier? So yeah.
And that old wood you can't get wood like that no more.
Nope.
I think one of the things I really noticed is that we had real trouble trying to figure out who we were going to have even for contractors.
Oh, sure.
And the people that came in here wanted to just tear this all out and start, take it down to the studs and start over. And I think when you came in the siding in the house, all of a sudden the trust started building, and your passion comes through. And we talked a little bit earlier when you first came about some of the things that are working well, and you became part of our family.
Oh, absolutely. And you guys too. I mean, we talked before Barb got here that, I brought my family out here for picnics. We used to sit under that beautiful tree out there, and me and the crafts people would be working here, and we just sit down for a nice little lunch. The kids would be running around. You guys, I think you may have had maybe one horse.
No, we had all three.
You did at that time?
Yeah.
So the kids were out, I mean, they don't see horses all that often, and it's just awesome to be out here and do that. And then to be on, for whatever reason, when I'm on an old church restoration or an old house restoration, the odd thing is you're either like an old house person or you're not. And I feel way more comfortable out here on a house that was here 100 years before I was even conceived. I feel way more comfortable here than I do in a brand new house. Now, I admire new construction, but there's just something about these old buildings where you feel just like a warmth comes over you, and it's just such a wonderful experience. And you guys get to live it in and out, but when I get to work on these houses, it makes my days better.
You made it a home.
Yeah. Thank you.
We have such love and support in this place.
Yeah.
And the colors, we couldn't have picked those colors.
Oh.
We couldn't have agreed on colors. And the colors you picked are just brilliant. So
awesome.
it adds to the warmth.
Well, and as you went through the process, I mean, your passion just kept coming. You were really excited about this. It wasn't a job.
Yeah.
This was a fun project, I think.
And I think it's a very symbolic project, not only for taking a bank-owned house from, back from the housing crisis, that this was a remnant of that, and there was a lot of bank-owned stuff, and it was a beautiful rural property that probably could have just been bulldozed.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 people probably would have came here and just said, the land is worth the money, not the house. Exactly. You guys saw it through, and I'm very happy that you found the Anderson brothers and Wentzlaff and me, and I
the
don't.
floor person.
Oh, Clancy's too.
Oh,
Clancy's
my
were just they're another phenomenal husband and wife team that does this in our area, and they're of the same. I believe they use traditional finishes just like me because they know it makes their life a little bit worse, but it makes your guys' life way better for a long time, and that's sort of the ethos. But when a job like this, when it aligns with the core values of like me personally and my company, I think that's when the good things really, really happen. Yeah. So it's amazing. It like I said before, everything that's been good in the past, everything that's good right now with technology and science, you put it all together, and I think that's the best product.
Well, and I have to add that I loved, after begging the Minneapolis Tribune that they would cross the county lines and come to a rural county, that they did a story on this house. To acknowledge local people saving an old house in a rural area. That was awesome that they came down. And the reporter said to me, looked out the window and said, "What's that?" And I said, "It's a round bale." She had never seen one before.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Even in Minnesota, you think you would come across some of that stuff. Yeah. So no, and that was a huge. I mean, you would not believe what it's like to have your name mentioned in the home section of the Star
awesome.
Trib.
It was very cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, and the photographer, just to mention, was brilliant. We've actually become friends with him online.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Richard is an internationally fabulous photographer.
Oh, nice.
He took the picture of us on the couch and named each dog. He asked a whole bunch of questions about that. Richard was fabulous in terms of the photographer they sent down.
Awesome. So if you guys had to do this all over, number one, would you do it? And number two, would you do anything different?
We would do it.
I think we'd do it. And I think we'd, I don't know if we'd change.
I don't know that we would change anything.
We're pretty happy with with what happened here.
Awesome.
I mentioned to you too that I was having some illness at the time, and that I was going to do some of the painting and some of the construction work. And I think because of my illness at that point, and it was depression.
Yeah.
I just, I wasn't able to do it. And the thing that was very helpful to me is yourself and the Anderson brothers and everybody. They just kind of picked it up, and it was really cool.
So you delegated a bunch of stuff to trustworthy people, and
Exactly.
that allowed you to do what you needed to do. Yeah, that's awesome to hear.
And came out and watched the things happening, and
Yeah.
people were so respectful and helpful and friendly, and
Well, I know,
and they're all my friends now. So
oh,
I
it's
like
awesome.
That. Yeah,
It's awesome. So I let all my crew. We have 15 people working for me now, and we'll take on another 5 or 6 in the next month. So everybody that I let know within the company was very happy, especially the guys who actually had hands on this project. And a bunch of people, I announced I was going to do this from a special, very meaningful location. A couple people actually guessed. It's got to be that yellow farmhouse. You talk about it all the time, and it's
Nice.
it comes through. So thank you guys for your trust with this project. It's amazing. It's the first time I ever did formal safety training. I think you might have actually been listening to us outside.
Yeah.
So first time I did formal safety training. First time I really did a formal live feed. A beautiful restoration. Won my first national award for restoration, and since then we've won 3 other, and this last year, because of projects like this, I was named Craftsman of the Year. So it's a huge honor to see this. Like, this is the jumping off point. This is where it all sort of coalesced. So it's been awesome, you guys. So thank you for your trust with it, and thank you for letting us in, because this is
awesome.
nerve-wracking. So
No, this is fun.
Awesome.
I'm glad you could come back.
all right, thanks again, guys.
You bet.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. So thank you very much. This is going to be posted in the comments section down in the live feed. My apologies for the interruption in the live feed. We are in the hinterlands of Minnesota. It is what it is, but you don't get beautiful places like this in the middle of the city most of the time. So we have to come out here, and the downside is technology doesn't follow you that far out. So thanks again, everybody. I do appreciate it. Thanks to the PDCA, and we'll talk to you guys next week.